Welcome back to Civilization 6. Today we're going to be talking about the plethora of games. I have 3 pages of notes here uh, for the Xbox Games Showcase that aired today. What is today? The June the 9th? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about here.
And a lot to be excited about for 2024. Some questionable stuff. We'll see, depending upon how it ends up actually looking when they release.
I mean, the questionable thing to right off the bat is the new Call of Duty Black Ops game. The truth lies, don't you know? The truth, it lies.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm really a fan of the choice of uh like phrasing, I guess. I don't know. Uh Kind of bad grammatically in my personal opinion, but not trying to nitpick grammatical choices in a trailer.
It's also Call of Duty.
Yeah. That was like the biggest chunk, I would say. They're very proud of their new Call of Duty game. But there was a lot of other stuff that's coming out in 2024.
Yeah. So the next game that they brought up was Doom Dark Ages.
Oh
This
yeah.
this looks like a cross between like the Doom that you know with Elden Ring. it looks like the Doomslayer broke into the lands between and is now wrecking house with a shield and shotgun. It looks amazing.
It really, really looks like Doom in Elden Ring. It's pretty crazy.
Doom Dark Ages. I think one of the notable scenes there is it looks like there's a cyber demon dragon
Oh yeah,
and
that looks crazy.
the Doomslayer rides the dragon. So that's pretty cool. Uh, then they showcased State of Decay 3.
Yeah.
Um, and we don't have a release date for that. Wait, Doom Dark Ages 2025. Call of Duty Black Ops, that's coming out sometime in the near future, I'm sure. But I didn't catch the release date on that. But 2025 for Doom Dark Ages, and then State of Decay 3. We don't have a release date window for that, but the trailer was interesting.
For which one?
It
Which trailer are you talking about?
The trailer for State of Decay
Oh
3.
yeah.
That trailer was a little
Yeah, I
weird.
I have mixed feelings about zombie apocalypse games. Because like on the one hand, I think it's really interesting narratively, and I know that things like uh, Walking Dead and stuff like that are really popular. But I like from a, I guess, humanist perspective, I think it's kind of like borderline irritating that people are really, really fond of like, let's come together as a community and support each other and survive together once a zombie apocalypse has happened. But yet, like, if you uh, encourage that type of behavior pre-apocalypse in the age of uh, capitalism, you kind of are labeled as some, you know, social outliers. And I just think it's kind of silly because, like, why can't there be more stories about people building community and trying to, you know, better things before there's an apocalypse with uh, mutated rage humans.
I mean,
I don't know.
that is a really good point. That is a trope in gaming. It has been like rebuilding civilization rather than, like trying to save it in the moment. There's not really any sort of narrative. Well, I don't know if there's not any.
I mean, there's narrative, but I don't know. I just think that there's kind of like this habit to only care after for a short amount of time after a tragedy, particularly a mass tragedy. Uh, and then you get people like are depicted in The Walking Dead, right? Like the Negan characters of the world that exploit even those situations. So, you know, I'm just someone who wishes people could be a little less garbo.
The Negans of the world.
You know what I mean. I don't want to like, late game spoilers of The Walking Dead, which has been out for like 10 years. But you never know. Someone listening could be like, no Walking Dead spoilers, please.
I don't know current Negan. I just know the
like season 7.
when he first shows up.
I don't think we've watched Walking Dead for like 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
There was a time where zombies were the thing.
Yeah. And I do think there's still a pretty common like storytelling device.
Yeah, I mean, you see those phases of different like storytelling niches in like television, like at the dawn of TV, where like westerns were popular.
Yeah.
And then it was like space stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Crime shows, very like these shows that go back and forth between like.
Well, and we've got one of these games that we're going to get to and talk about that's kind of a mix of those things. It's kind of a space western.
A space western. Oh yeah, that's further down on the list. So the next game we have, I was starting to get on a weird tangent. Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Oh yeah, that one looks pretty good.
That's coming out fall 2024. So, BioWare's Dragon Age series, it does look good. I will say that's one I'm going to be looking out for.
Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. I like the kind of like I haven't played any of the Dragon Age games personally, so I don't actually know any of the like I don't know lore personally. But it looks like you've got a lot of choice as a player, both in like the character you play and how you play and stuff, if I'm understanding the trailer correctly. I don't know. Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of depth in character interaction in the Dragon Age series. Typically, the second one I don't think there's as much, but Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Inquisition had some interesting like interpersonal character dynamics, but not like they didn't do anything different in Dragon Age Origins. Honestly, they used very similar gameplay mechanics as the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which they'd also done, and later on they used similar interpersonal mechanics in Mass Effect, though they had hugely different gameplay mechanics in the Mass Effect series. But this is definitely one that I will be looking at, and I might even stream Dragon Age Origins. It's been a long time since I played that game, and it'd be nice to familiarize myself with the lore again.
Yeah. It looked really interesting, very, I don't know, visually engaging.
Yeah.
um, but they also had new Starfield DLC coming out, Shattered Space.
Yeah, so Starfield Shattered Space was showcased, and that doesn't have a specific date, but it is this year, 2024. It looks okay. It's I'm going to refer back to my most recent Starfield stream uh, for my thoughts and opinions on Starfield, but I uh, there's also some content coming out tonight for those that actually are playing Starfield. There's going to be it looks like a trackers agency, I think is what they called it, a bounty hunting expansion. It could be good.
Cool. Looked like it got a lot of new kind of stuff, like kind of environmental
No,
stuff.
no,
What?
hang on.
No.
I
Oh, that was to the barbarians.
Yeah, I just messed up real bad.
Oh no, what happened?
I disconnected my archer from my builder, and I moved my archer and not the builder. I meant to move the. Oh my goodness.
Do you need to reload?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Well,
man, that's
folks, we're reloading the game.
it's
It
it's
happens.
quite a few turns back, but we've just been talking this whole time, so it doesn't. I'm gonna go back to main menu. Oh my
Yeah, sure.
god.
I am the last remaining human player.
I got caught up in the conversation.
The downside to talking while playing.
And I wasn't looking at what I was doing at all.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. Absolutely.
It was 3 turns in, and we're still in the ancient era, so there aren't too many complex maneuvers. I hope there wasn't any difficult turns that you
No,
had. Okay,
I actually, this might help me save one of my units.
great. I'm glad it's a win-win
Yeah,
situation.
you'll
It's a
just need to
happy
send me
accident.
a party invite.
Yes, I was waiting
I'm
for you to let
actually,
me know to
I'm
send it.
in lobby, or well, it's not lobby. It's whatever.
There you go.
Um, there's going to be the load in just a moment. It's going to have some talking. Going to hear that lovely, was Sean Bean?
Sean Bean,
Yeah.
yes, not not to be confused with Mr. Bean.
No, no, very
Not at
different.
all. Sean
Very
Bean, uh,
different.
been in Game of Thrones. He was in the Silent Hill movie, both of them.
Yes.
He, he
I
was in
think we're
both
going
of
to
them.
mute for a moment while that plays, so
Yeah.
that way we're not talking over each other, us in the game. And we shall return in just a moment.
From humble beginnings, you have shown remarkable growth. Leave your bronze for iron, and rule with horse and sword. The sky above begins to reveal its secrets, a collection of heaven that uplifts our hearts and guides us to foreign shores. Coupe the Navigator, you named the land of the long white...
All right. We're going to do it right this time.
If you do the thing and you do it right and you don't mess it up, it works.
Yes. Absolutely. So,
I'm still loading in, by the way. Yay, slow Xbox One.
Let's see. We were talking about Starfield, and the next thing on the list here we have Fallout 76.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's got like a map expansion. Part
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. So apparently on the 12th of June, there's going to be a map expansion, the first ever map expansion for Fallout 76. And if you're a fan of Fallout 76, that's great news. Because that gives you a lot more content. And also, it looks like it could be good. I think that Fallout 76 gets a bad rap because when it came out, it was not great. And they've fixed a plethora of the issues. I have played it. I played it about a year ago, and I had a blast playing it when I was. And the fact that they're still providing content updates and still supporting the game, even after such a difficult beginning. I think that some of those issues are gone. It's a much different kind of game. It's not Fallout 4. It's not Fallout 3. It does something a bit different. You build your own sort of, I guess, your own home, and you can build pretty much anywhere in in most regions. You can pretty much build almost anywhere, and with very limited restrictions on that. Unless somebody else has a build close by. It's fun. It's a good game. Try it out. if you played a Fallout game before and had a good time, it's where it needs to be now. I think. Oh, and coming in 2025, you'll be able to play as a ghoul.
Oh yes.
That's going to be really cool. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but
You're a poet and you didn't know it.
I guess so. Okay, we did the smart move this time.
Yay.
Yay, we made the smart move.
We love that. That's great. We love the smart move. I too got to make the smart move with my characters and not risk losing a unit. So we love that.
Nice. Let's see here. The next thing we have on the list is, interestingly, a turn-based role-playing game by a French developer, Sandfall Interactive.
Oh yeah, that was a world premiere as they framed it.
Yeah. So this is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It looks like the story could be really wild, and by wild I mean it looks like I don't know, the world is I don't know, it's hard to narrow down what this game is actually about.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. It's pretty artsy. It's a little hard to tell exactly what the antagonist is, more than who.
Yeah, they call her the Paintress.
And there seems to be some kind of, like, like time reactive group harm. I'm trying to find ways to say that. If you don't succeed at a thing, there's like I don't know. It's really hard to explain. Go watch it.
Yeah, watch
the trailer. It's good.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. You had to be there, I guess.
Which you can be there too on YouTube. They have the whole showcase.
Right there.
Right there.
You could also go to the Xbox YouTube page and look at the individual trailers too. You don't have to sit through the whole Xbox showcase if you don't want to.
They had a lot of these like world premieres, but that one looked really intense, really interesting. Another one that I thought was really interesting set for 2025 was that South of Midnight. It kind of gave off like it's set in like a New Orleans style bayou. Looked really interesting. Kind of very cinematic though.
Very fantastical creatures in the game. Looks pretty good. I like it. It kind of has a, what would you call it? Similar art style to what they did with the Across the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that.
Where it almost looks like a bit choppy intentionally.
Yeah.
Like a comic book coming to life. It kind of has that that same vibe, I think.
That's a good way of describing it, yeah. Absolutely. It looks really interesting. Looks like it could have a cool story. I mean, again, if you're okay with that kind of linear cinematic playstyle. It doesn't seem very open world at all, really. But
I mean,
it's hard to tell with a clip that's really curated.
I wouldn't mind a linear adventure game. You know, those are kind of far and few between now. It's like almost every other game is an open world game. Too many, I think. Some of them are questionable in how good they are.
Yeah.
Speaking of questionable things, the next thing that they discussed in the Xbox
such a good segue.
Showcase was the new World of Warcraft expansion, The War Within.
The War Within.
Set for a release date of August 26th, 2024. So this year. Coming soon.
Coming soon. I don't know. It looks like it's a WoW expansion. I don't know. It is what it is. It doesn't really look particularly like it stands out compared to other WoW expansions that I've seen.
It presented a lot of other WoW expansions in the cinematic trailer, which I did not take as a good sign.
Yeah.
There was a lot of nothing.
Yeah, they highlighted a lot of the other expansions and put a lot of like, this is all the things we've done before kind of dialogue in, and then we're gonna do it again. Well, okay, that's a choice.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Another round. Get ready to strap yourself in.
No, not Activision Blizzard. They're separating them. Just Blizzard. Again.
It's almost been 20 years. World of Warcraft is almost 20 years old.
Oh my gosh. So old.
It is an old game now.
I don't know. It's still very popular, but it just is starting to feel a little repetitive with its narrative choices.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But...
Yeah, I mean, I put a lot of time into World of Warcraft. I stopped playing after the Burning Legion expansion.
Oh yeah.
Not Burning Crusade, the Burning Legion. The Battle for Azeroth didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I tried to play a little bit of Battle for Azeroth, and then I just kind of gave up.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I didn't have the fortitude.
I couldn't deal with the Sylvanas storyline.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, the Dark Sylvanas just didn't do it for me. Sorry, anyone who loves World of Warcraft. I really liked playing as the Demon Hunter, though.
Burning Legion was my favorite, and I think that's where the Demon Hunter came from, and I think that's where I think that the game peaked, in my opinion. For a lot of people, the game peaked at Lich King. I think that.
Oh, I just blocked your scoot. I'm so sorry.
I'll get to it. It's okay. He'll be fine, I'm sure.
I zoomed you.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Zoom, zoom.
That was a commercial from the time period that game came out. World of Warcraft.
Mazda. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, zoom, zoom. Oh, man.
So... Then, after the World of Warcraft expansion, they showcased the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh yeah, Snake Eater.
Snake Eater.
The pre-caked snake. Sorry.
Pre-cakey snake. That was Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh,
we got a lot of Snake's cake in Metal Gear Solid 4.
And everyone was real mad about it when Fortnite didn't cake their snake.
I mean, they caked Snake. They caked Snake for the old man Snake, which is exactly where the cake came from.
What an odd timeline we are.
Old man Snake has the best cake
in Fortnite.
In Fortnite. What a rhyme.
What a sentence.
Call Eminem. We have some lyrics for
him. His new music video is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Houdini.
Yeah, Houdini.
It's definitely got some Fortnite references in there.
I was gonna say it's also very classic Eminem. Like,
yeah,
very aware of his brand, but it's entertaining.
I mean, it's more entertaining now when he's not taking himself as seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like
everyone.
The opposite of what Bethesda did with Starfield.
They took themselves too seriously.
They took themselves too seriously. They went they went with more comedic effects in Fallout 4, and then they just dropped off in Starfield.
Well, NASA humor is hard to find your
NASA
for.
Humor is that's, I think by definition, that's an oxymoron, right? That's not the.
I mean, maybe that depends upon who you ask. Comedy and art are very subjective.
Yes.
Comedy is art and is also subjective. Yeah, it's just another remake, though, right? The Metal Gear Solid 3.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just a
remastered, or
I don't know if it's remastered. It's
just a re-release.
It might have new scenes. It might have new content. I don't know. It looks like kind of like the. For those that are watching or familiar with the GameCube, could be in a similar fashion to the Twin Snakes expanded cutscenes. So they released the original Metal Gear Solid in a remake fashion back on the GameCube. And there were some additional cutscenes that were really... they made the game a lot better, honestly. I think I might lose my warrior here if I don't go in the water. Go in the water and save my barbarian warrior. My barbarian warrior. My
I like my brain just like glitched. I was
save
like, wait,
my
what?
warrior from barbarians.
Gotcha.
Let me say the words correctly this time.
I'm starting to build a holy site because it's the only district that I can build, and I have a spot that gives +4 faith because it's like surrounded by mountains. And realistically, it probably would have given +4 and a bunch of other things like the campus and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I just wanted to get the credit for building a specialty district because it boosts one of the civics. Can't remember which one off the top of my head. Let me see. State workforce. It's the one that I am currently researching. And if you build a specialty district, it will boost it. So.
gotcha.
Decided I'll just go ahead and build a holy site. I get bonuses, so.
Might as well.
I don't actually remember what the pantheon I went with was.
I just
What did I choose?
finished construction on my first galley.
Nice. Can't go in the water for another till I research celestial navigation. So I've got a couple pieces that are kind of landlocked.
Gotcha.
It's frustrating, but at least I have 2 cities now. So that's cool. Ooh, I just went over 1,000 gold. Wow.
Oh, very nice. Let's see. Next, we have Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
The new season, yeah.
Looks
so
like there could be a new ship.
it looks like it could be a new ship. It could be a new cannon, a front-mounted cannon. I don't know if this is a new ship entirely, or if it's just a new attachment for ships in general.
Gotcha.
It looks like it's a new ship, though. It would be interesting to see something larger than what they have, like a 5 or 6 person vessel. That would change up the meta a lot in Sea of Thieves. Especially having a front-mounted cannon. That would make it really hard to run away from.
Yeah. That thing looked like it was like breathing fire. It was pretty crazy looking.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just that front-mounted flamethrower and not a full cannon, then I don't think that would be too bad. But wait, what? That's weird. That's weird. Oh, no. I already took my turn with that. I thought the turn had already run over because it jumped back to one of my other units. Oh, and this Souls-like is next. Flintlock. The Siege of Dawn.
Oh yeah, that was that like
Fantasy Western.
space fantasy western.
Space fantasy Western.
It
I
looks like it could be interesting if you like that kind of um, theming. Uh, there's like this really bizarre kind of shadow fox, a familiar thing that seems to accompany your characters.
it looks like that creature gives you um, some type of movement uh, as it moves along with you. The gameplay itself, the combat, looks a bit like God of War. That's the best comparison that I have to their combat system. It looks like
Yeah.
more combo oriented, less like Elden Ring where every move matters. But this is more combo oriented. Could be good.
Yeah.
And then Age of Myth. Oh wait, release date: Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, July
18th.
18th, 2024.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot that comes out in the next couple of months. Be interesting. See how they do. I don't know. Some of Xbox's choices recently have been a little bit questionable.
Yeah, I hope these games are actually at their well secured release date rather than rushed out the door. That's something that uh, we see far too often in the games industry right now, where games are getting shoved out the door before they're even done, and they're you can just call them a
Half baked.
yeah. I mean they're and then they're constantly being worked on and fixed when like they should have just been given the time they needed, because that perception, the release perception, is what paints the picture of the future of that game, like Starfield.
Yeah.
um I mean
Yeah, I
there
mean, we'll see if that DLC, what it ends up being, and if that improves some of the few, like, questionable choices that have been made so far. Um, I think that Age of Mythology one looks odd. The next one they went over after Flintlock, called Age of Mythology Retold.
yeah
It's like Age of Empires esque, but more, I don't know, like high fantasy.
yeah it has some might and magic uh vibes to it, less like Civilization, less like Age of Empires, more of like, I don't know, might and magic to me.
Yeah.
It seemed like you build um, more like a real time strategy. Um, like, I guess this is kind of a real time strategy game, isn't it?
It's more like when you're super zoomed in on the tiles, right? Like it looked more like you're watching the pieces in third person as opposed to like eagle eye view.
Yes, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute for just a moment. I gotta find a phone
Okay,
charger.
do the same. All right.
I just took out a barbarian outpost.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I get 2 era points for every barbarian outpost that I take out.
Yeah, the Ancient Era gives you a lot of bonus points for taking out barbarian outposts. The next game on the list.
Oh yeah, showcase.
Yeah, getting back to the showcase.
We still have like 2 pages, so that's why we're trying to like be snappy about it.
I keep forgetting to move my scoop. Laventa. The next game on the list is Perfect Dark.
That one looked pretty good.
This was originally a rareware series, and I was surprised to hear that Crystal Dynamics, the developers of Tomb Raider and the Legacy of Kain games, are actually working on this one. So Xbox has shuffled Perfect Dark from rareware to Crystal Dynamics. It looks interesting. It could be good. And I keep saying it could be. These things could be good because we don't know. We don't know.
Well, and there's been a lot of games that we thought were going to be good, and we're kind of like Skull and Bones or whatever that you played the beta on. Kind of thought that it was going to be a little better than it was, and the mechanics just weren't up to what it felt like was advertised.
Yeah, no. When you advertise that the game is going to be something it's not,
that generally doesn't go well for people.
You know, it was a pirate exploration game, not a sailing ship exploration game. That's totally different vibes.
Yeah. I've never. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to start there at the exact same time as you.
No worries.
Was Crystal Dynamics? Were they the ones that made Legacy of Kain, or was that a different? Who made that?
So Silicon Knights did the first Legacy of Kain Blood Omen.
Right.
And then the sequel Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver was done by Crystal Dynamics. I don't know exactly the exact history there of what happened to Silicon Knights. Silicon Knights may have been bought by Crystal Dynamics, or it became Crystal Dynamics. It's really hard to say.
Interesting. Well, yeah, especially when there's like subsidiaries and like all that kind of stuff.
Chat says, but a bait and switch is exactly what pirates would do.
Yeah, but the game developers aren't supposed to be the pirates. Well, I guess it's not the developers. It's more the marketing teams. Maybe okay, I take that back. Maybe the marketing teams are pirates. Sorry, I hope that's not like rude to anyone who's in marketing. Just saying. I don't feel like, truth in advertising is like 100% the standard. Just saying. You sure? Yeah, exactly.
Just so you know, having to do with civilization, there is a barbarian scout that's heading towards both Amsterdam and Rotterdam.
Is it the one that's kind of north of it?
Yeah, it's at a quarter health now. Yeah, I damaged it too just now. So
I've got slingers in Amsterdam. I almost lost a warrior. It's very low health. I'm healing it in the tundra south. and I finally got past these stupid mountains. There's like 4 mountain ranges right in a row north of where you're going. And there's like valleys, and unless you're going to be able to cross over water near Leventa, but I can't go over water, so I have to like mull my way around each of the mountainscapes. I'm trying to like explore out. And every time I go around a corner, there's just another mountain.
Around every bend.
There's another bend. It's a bend that never ends. Oh, I don't know if that's copyrighted.
Oh, you can hum a few bars.
Well, especially if you change the words. That's funny, chat. Chat says, imagine the rivalry between the Silicon Knights and the Knights in white satin. Funny.
God.
I get another person in my city next turn.
Let's see. After Perfect Dark, they showcased. Yeah, we got to get.
Yeah, someone joined chat now that someone's talking with us.
Yeah, now that someone's here. Hello, welcome.
Also,
we've been talking about the Xbox Showcase.
I got so into the conversation. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Xbox Showcase today, where they detailed the upcoming games and updates and things like that for 2024, 2025. You were saying?
So, next on the list, we have the Diablo IV expansion, Vessel of Hatred. And that's coming out the 8th of October this year, 2024. So that trailer looked pretty grotesque. I will say, if you're a fan of Diablo, that it's pretty gross, pretty great, pretty greatly disgusting. I
guess this would be a good point to give, like, what would you call it, like a trigger warning, like a lot of body horror.
Yeah, a lot of
pretty
really
gross.
bad. I would put it on the level of like, what is that?
Scorn or Blasphemous, like those.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh yeah.
That series. I say it has, it's pretty intense.
It was the opening, so during the showcase they played the opening cinematic.
Sounds like a Diablo game.
That's funny. That was a good one. I mean, Diablo is good. I will say Diablo cinematics are always kind of funny to me because of the way that gameplay is. And maybe I don't know exactly which Diablo I played.
3.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We played it together.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the gameplay is gonna like look different. And if there's going to be any like change in the graphics or anything like that from the game that I played, but I don't personally know the story as to why that particular cinematic is like significant. I was just kind of like, oh, this is interesting narrative, but I don't really know how this plays into the overarching like narrative, and maybe that's just my own lack of understanding of the plot of Diablo.
Well, I think that it's a continuation of the story in Diablo 4.
Gotcha.
And I think that they're going.
That would make sense considering it's a sequel.
Going off of the basis that you're not even a sequel; it's an expansion to the current.
Oh yeah, that's
Diablo
right.
4.
It's not a new game; it's just an expansion.
Yeah, it's just an expansion.
Right, I forgot.
I think they're introducing a new class. I'm not sure exactly what they're introducing, but the cinematic trailer, it looked interesting.
I will say that that was one of the moments where it was really clear that it seems like Xbox is definitely trying to separate Activision and Blizzard, because they're
Yeah.
actively presenting it as Blizzard presents, and announce them with another game title in between when they did their lineup of companies that are under their umbrella now. So I think it's kind of interesting with all the history of Activision Blizzard that they're like going pretty hard in this, like, okay, you two cause trouble, you have to sit at opposite ends of the classroom.
Yeah, when I can't remember who exactly it was that came out. They mentioned the games coming out from Activision, Bethesda, and Blizzard.
Yeah, very
clearly
separate.
clearly separating the companies.
Which, I mean, given the public history with Activision Blizzard, it makes sense that they would want to do that. But it was just kind of funny to see how that PR team chose to to make that, like, it wasn't super obvious. It's not like they had made some kind of announcement about it. It was just really intentional phrasing in their writing for the presentation. Oh, bless you,
Oh,
kitty cat.
that was a cat sneeze.
I don't know if that came through on the microphone, but this is an intense sneeze. Are you okay,
It was
kitty?
an intense sneeze.
Wow. Yeah, so after Diablo, they talked about Fable, which
Yeah.
it's like
No subtitle, just Fable. It's the fourth Fable, but it doesn't have a subtitle, and they're not even calling it the fourth one in the series. It's just Fable.
This feels like a Fast and Furious versus the Fast and the Furious. Like, is that significantly different, or because it's not the same story? It's not a remake.
Yeah, no, it's not. It is a new iteration.
Apparently, chat thought that our kitty cat sneeze was a attack sound in the game.
Hilarious.
Barbarians attacking. Achoo! Yeah, I don't. The Fable, I mean, it's like all games recently. It's got its pretty aspects. I think every game world is objectively very creative and pretty to look at this point. There's not many games that are like, oh, that's a disappointing environment that you created. But, you know, it is weird to see Xbox, you know, shutter companies and then kind of, I don't know, make similar but different content, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm off base here, but
yeah, it seems to me like they bought some of these companies for the IP to give the IP to other companies to make the same game.
Yeah, it feels a little cannibally.
We'll see how it plays out in the future, because I think that we will see another iteration of The Evil Within.
Oh yeah,
that is a game series that I enjoyed playing. We'll probably also see at some point like another Dishonored game, because that series was also very well received and liked.
were those, what company were those originally under? I forgot.
So Arcane Studios, Austin, that company was shuttered. They also made Redfall. I mean, I kind of expected Microsoft would do something with them because of that, which is unfortunate. But you know, I think that they did single player games very well, narrative based single player games very well, and they were. I don't know if they were pressured into making Redfall, but it just fell short. there was not enough
Yeah.
there. Oh, I got another governor.
Governor. Sorry.
But then Evil Within is Tango Gameworks, and Tango Gameworks also did the most recent what was it called? Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh.
And that's a cell-shaded kind of, I guess you could call it a dystopian future game where it's semi-rhythm, semi-action RPG.
Oh, interesting.
So it was very unique. But it seems like Microsoft is leaning more heavily into Unreal Engine 5 mechanics, or the engine on Unreal 5, as a development tool rather than other companies using something entirely different.
Yeah.
And who knows if that had anything to do with. I guess we'll never know entirely what happened there.
Sure.
We can only speculate. Let's see. Chat says, I will say that.
Oh yeah, I read that, chat. I don't quite get that one.
I don't understand.
I mean, you're right. Pride and Prejudice is very different from Pride and Prejudice, both the show or the movie or whatever. And
Yes.
everything. But I don't quite understand your joke in relation to this context. Oh, wait. Fable and Fable.
Oh.
The ADHD kicked in. Hold on.
We went too far. We've gone too far.
We weren't there yet.
I
got
funny.
it. I caught up. Okay. That's funny now. Now that I understand the joke. Oh, then they released a whole bunch of. Sorry, I don't mean to just like jump back to the Xbox premiere, but I remembered that after the Fable, which by the way, Fable is going to come out in 2025.
2025, yeah.
It is from Playground Games. I just wanted to complete the loop.
So Lionhead Studios, because Xbox shuttered them in 2016.
Yeah.
They developed the original Fable, and the original Fable released in September of 2004.
20 years ago.
Yeah, it did not go over well. The original Fable, at its release on Steam right now, it apparently has a 9 out of 10. But at release, it was a 7. It was a 7 out of 10. Not much changed. It's just the perception. A lot was promised falsely upon the release. The game's good on its own, but it had a lot of hype. There was a really massive hype train behind that. There was a big article in the magazine Game Informer, and they really talked that game up, overpromised and underdelivered, and it showed. You say that you'll age in the game over time. When you tell people that you'll age over time, you kind of expect, they set it up where they told you that your village got ransacked by bandits, and then you grow up and you can sleep outside. If you sleep outside, you can get diseases. And this was revolutionary back in 2004. If you encountered a werewolf, you could contract lycanthropy. All of these different things. And at the time, like Morrowind was like the closest thing to like a big open world game that we had. And
sorry I'm taking so long on my turn. I'm trying to decide on a governor tile. I got really zoned into reading all of their different
Oh,
options.
okay. Yeah, there are
I
a lot of
apologize.
governor options.
Yeah. I've already got one governor in my capital city. I'm just trying to decide if I want to upgrade her or pick a different governor for my second city. And I got really zoned in. But you are welcome to keep talking about Fable if you want, or we can talk about the world premieres that they released like 3 right in a row.
Yeah, they did a bunch of world
And I will
premieres
finish picking a
right in a
governor.
row, and you know, I think that this Fable iteration could be interesting, but you know, it's probably going to be another Fable. It's probably going to be different but similar to what they've done in the past. Could it again? It could be good. I think that Fable 1, 2, and 3 are pretty good games. I think the second one especially. Second one is my favorite in the series.
That's funny.
So the first in this series of world premieres was Frag Punk, is what it's called.
Frag Punk.
It looks like it's a, they call it a 5v5 rule changing shooter, and it looks like an FPS mixed with a card game. You use different cards to change the quote unquote rules of the game, meaning like really strange things like changing gravity or changing the size of enemies' heads for yourself to give yourself an advantage in game. It looks strange. It could be fun.
Chat has liked Fable 2 the best so far, just to circle back really quick.
Yeah, Fable 2 is I wholeheartedly agree. Fable 2 is better than the first Fable. Oh, there was a lot missing that they again. It was an overpromise and an underdeliver. And I think that they delivered on all of their promises for the second one. It wasn't overhyped. And I was very skeptical of its release, and I enjoyed it. But I was, I think, in my early 20s when that released. I can't remember exactly the year it came out. Anyway, so Frag Punk 5v5 rule changing shooter, that's coming out in 2025, and then we have Winter Burrow.
Oh yeah, Winter Burrow was so cute. It looked kind of like the oh man, I don't remember what the books were called, but they were like the
Redwall.
Well, I remember Redwall for sure. Yeah, they were definitely some Redwall inspirations as well. But there's also this like frog and toad stories that a lot of young elementary kids read in the 90s and early aughts and stuff like that, that had this very whimsical kind of cottage core aesthetic to them. And those, it kind of looks like a cross between Redwall and that aesthetic.
Yeah, it has, I would say like a children's picture book art style, even though it has a little bit more complex narratives in it. Like what's the other one? There's another animated film about a rodent.
Oh, there's quite a few.
Oh, I know, right? The Fievel.
Yeah, is that the one you're thinking
Fievel.
of?
No, that wasn't the
There's
one I was thinking of. There's
a
a really dark one.
Something in the American West or something like that.
Fievel Goes West.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, and not that one. There's another one, and it's I think it's another Don Bluth film.
That would be
that did Land Before Time and and whatnot. The Secret of Nim. The Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
It's got some dark Secret of Nim vibes, and maybe that's because it's a big owl.
Yeah.
in that scene. But yeah, it definitely had the Secret of Nim.
That's very interesting. It's kind of like a story, maybe community builder kind of one, where you like build up your house and your little den, and you like make recipes and stuff like that, but you're a mouse and you're like running around in this like foresty area, and you have to like build a home in the forest. I guess that would be the best way to not give any spoilers. Oh, Kat said it is the Frog and Toad children's series. Yeah.
Yeah, it does have similar vibes to that.
Like, especially in the art style in particular.
Um,
What was this about wanting to play as Gambit? Just play Fortnite. Gambit's in Fortnite.
So we were, yeah, just play Fortnite.
Want to play as a certain IP? Play Fortnite.
Oh,
sorry. I'm done. Being serious now.
No, think more like the animation. It looks like when they use the cards, it's like they pull the card out and they snap it.
Oh,
there's like this intense animation that
is that the
like
Frag Punk one?
Yeah, the Frag Punk one where you use the card. It's more like an item in game, and then you snap it.
Kind of gave like weird Yu-Gi-Oh vibes.
Yeah, more like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh, the first person shooter.
Oh man, that's great. Wow, there's a lot of Zillennials that I'm sure would love that. What an odd term, Zillennial. Anyway, Mixtape was another world premiere this 2020. Yeah, this one was really funny.
Yeah. Mixtape.
That one was this kind of like, again, that kind of like comic book come to life art style. Kind of gave Perks of Being a Wallflower vibes. This like harmless teen rebellion storyline.
It's got a lot of references to 80s and 90s films. It's definitely a game that'll pull on nostalgia heartstrings,
especially for millennials.
Yeah,
I think it's really the target audience is like millennials who are like, and I really think, not processing hitting 30 well.
I think some Gen Xers too, because there's like a scene that's like straight from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Well, and it's Mixtape. It's literally a cassette tape as the cover. Like that's the like, it's almost more like an 8-track tape. It's pretty crazy. Very retro, very analog. Kind of gives those like, there's a couple of those like RPG. What's that? There's one where you are in a forest, like in a ranger's tower or something like that, and you've got to like figure out a mystery or something, and it's kind of like got that really choppy, almost like you're turning pages in a coloring book kind of aesthetic to it.
Okay.
At least that's how I saw it. Maybe that's just my weird descriptor of
and this is a survival game?
No, this was Mixtape. I was saying I was comparing it to the way that the kind of like vibe it gave was this like nostalgic crossed with the like mystery, kind of like, not mystery like something dangerous happened and you got to figure out what happened, but like edgy indie stuff where it's like trying to tug on the nostalgia and be kind of like vignetted.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe that didn't make total sense, but it did in my head, I swear. Watchtower, chat says. See, it made sense, I swear. There was a reason.
There was a reason.
There was an ADHD bridge, I promise. I have to decide what to build in this city. I'm going to take a moment to actually play the game so that way chat doesn't have to just stare at a hexagon for an extended period of time.
Yeah, I went through my turn while we were going through that. It was all a blur. I blacked
Just
back
blacked
in.
back in.
Yeah, I was not. I was focused on what we were talking about, and I successfully managed to get through my turn without goofing.
No more dangerous choices.
So after Mixtape, they showcased Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And it looks like this is powered by an AI,
Yeah.
satellite data, and Azure AI.
It's a video creator. So like how Dolly does images and ChatGPT does text, Azure, I think is how you pronounce it, and it does video production. Like it creates clips and stuff like that.
That's really interesting. So I wonder how that's gonna work, because what it seems like you can do is participate in a lot of different kinds of activities in this flight simulator, whether it be like medivac stuff,
Search
like
and rescue,
search and rescue missions,
commercial pilot training.
Commercial pilot training. There was the Red Bull challenge.
Oh yeah, the race.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different stuff, and then I think some fighter jet kind of, but of course it's like not the, it's not, they're not partnered with like the military or anything like that, so it's not officially like a simulator in that sense, but they probably use it for training and a lot of things because it seems to be really detailed in the flight simulation part and really expansive in the surrounding world. So there's a lot of external environmental factors that can be included in like flight simulation trainings that are used within, that they use this for, the Microsoft flight simulation. It seems really to have really complex backgrounds, and I think that that's where that AI program comes in, is that it can create those really complex backgrounds with like essentially NPCs, like passengers on a plane or other things like that, where then they can simulate training programs for pilots or rescue helicopter pilots, etc. And I think it'd be a really interesting tool, especially for training programs.
So not only is it a flight simulator, but you can also land and get out of the plane. There are exploration modes, world exploration modes.
Yeah, it's also got like a open world aspect to it. It's pretty interesting.
It's like, if you've ever explored Google Earth, it would be it seems more like a really intense, but specifically sectioned off to flight, so you can like land and get out of the vehicle and take nature photographs. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it had a really, really detailed high definition camera feature too. When you got out of the plane that you were flying, you could then zoom into the nature around you and have really like crisp, high definition digital photos. It's like of this simulated world. It's pretty crazy. I think that that's going to be a really big one. It's going to be really popular because, I mean, for those who like that type of content, of course.
Honestly, I don't, and I think that this game looks great. I think that flight simulator, I think it looks fantastic. It not only does it look realistic, I think that one of the things that is missing from flight simulators, the most important factor, is people.
Yeah.
And this one has people in it.
Well, and it just makes the environment more engaging. Like, it's not just, it doesn't feel like those flight simulators that you can like, in some of the bigger malls in, especially in America, there's these like kiosks you go in and like pay to like use one of those flight simulators that are like 4D that like move and shake around and stuff like that. And I think that it was the start of this concept of like digital tourism. And I think that having something that you can uh, explore the world without actually having to be out in it, especially post world events in 2020.
Yeah, chat
The
says
big P we can't say.
yeah, right. Chat says like VR GeoGuessr. Yeah, with flight.
Yeah, except but with a flight sim included as part of it, where you can actually pilot different aviation vehicles. It seems really interesting. It seemed really high quality, like visually. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it was really cool. Really complex backgrounds. Really interesting use of the AI for the video production. And they put it right at the front, right at the beginning when they first started playing the trailer, that it was partially created with the use of Azure AI. So, it was very transparent that they used that, which I thought was good. I think that it's important to be transparent if you're using AI for that type of production, just because the impact that there is on like designers and developers and stuff like that. But they had a lot of other really, like, that's what I was saying about how most of these, there's hardly any games at this point where you are like, oh, that's visually disappointing. Usually I feel like the thing that falls short is the mechanics or the story or something like that. But most game worlds, unless you get into the details about the physics of the world, are pretty visually impressive at this point, just because of the technology that's available to people now.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like the next thing on the list here, if we're
oh yeah, back to the showcase. We got a little bit sidetracked with the Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, the flight sim. It looks fantastic. I can't stress that enough. It looks great. But the next thing on the list, we have it's a promotion for the Elder Scrolls Online, starting June 18th. It seems all of the DLC will be available to play for free for a limited time. I don't know if it's a limited time. They're calling it the Gold Road, and yes, I think that they did say it is for a limited time. And if you're a fan of Elder Scrolls and MMOs, then that's great. Looks like they're not. I don't think that they're necessarily adding anything, but it's the 10th year anniversary. I think that that's the important factor here. That's why they're doing this, because Elder Scrolls Online, if you can believe it, has been around for 10 years now.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. 10 years, wow. Oh. One of the city-states right near me is being attacked. What?
By another civilization?
I don't know.
Or
I just see them taking damage. I'm going to work my way over there, see what I can figure out. I forget we're still playing a game. Jumping back and forth.
Jumping back and forth between conversation and gameplay. It is a challenge. It is a particular juggling act.
Hopefully it's entertaining at least.
Right. So the next one on the list is Life is Strange. And this seems to be a new story in the series of Life is Strange. If you're familiar, this is an ongoing series that tells the story of this character Max and these powers that she has. I am not too familiar with Life is Strange. I think I played the first episode of the first series or season, I guess. They're not like seasons like Battle Pass, like Fortnite seasons. They're more like TV seasons. Like they get one every couple of years, I think. And you know, they have a good reputation of being interesting stories. So that's something to look forward to coming October 29th, 2024. Double Exposure, Life is Strange Double Exposure. And then we have Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. So the trailer that they showcased in the Xbox Direct was far more cinematic than I first anticipated. And I don't know if there are quick time events that go along with this, like you have to press a button as it goes on. It didn't look like it to me. It looked like just a cinematic. You got through a section of the game and then you're rewarded with this extremely cinematic Indiana Jones scene. It looks good. The voice acting is okay, so it could be a good game. It also looks like it could be a pretty decent sized game because it looks like, and maybe this is spoilers, but it was in the trailer, so I'm gonna share it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The Great Circle, it actually encompasses the globe, and it looks like there are key points across the and this is actually a real thing. There are places across the globe that have much in common because of the way that equinox hits on the equator. So you get a specific view of that, and it looks like you're going to be exploring a lot of those real life ruins in Indiana Jones, the Great Circle.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how long exactly it'll be. It could be quite long. Could be pretty short. I don't know. I don't know. That's just a guess because there are a lot of locations across the equator.
Well, and it's hard to tell exactly what their narrative is going to be, super open world, or if it's going to funnel you through specific places where you just interact with the thing and then, carry on.
Then you move on to the next.
Yeah, or if you just run from a boulder and then go to the next place. Seems to be the most common. Oh, we're doing Indiana Jones? We gotta make sure there's a boulder that almost runs you over.
You will be running from a boulder.
That is one almost guarantee we can probably assume. Allegedly.
There will be a boulder sprinting scene.
Most likely. Oh, man. I remember there was one, I think the next one was Mecha Break or something like that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
so... I heard of that.
Mecha Break, it seems like, is a mech, could be a PvP. Gotta teach him history and geography somehow. Yeah, gotta.
Oh, is that what?
Gotta shoehorn that into games so that we teach kids something.
Oh my gosh!
Don't tell them; they won't play.
Who we're gonna have teach them is Indiana Jones. Dear
oh no,
Lord.
we're doomed.
Oh boy. Is it like Harrison Indiana Jones, or is there like a new Mr. Jones?
Indiana Jones and the Doomed Civilization. No.
Indeed, 2024. Better option. Anyway,
I'll communicate with my fists. Boom, pow.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I learned from Indiana Jones. So Mecha Break looks like it could be a PvP mech game. It looks like it could be a I don't know, not quite a battle royale. I don't want to call it a battle royale because I don't know exactly how it's going to play out in game, but it does look like it has some very intricate combat, like a cross between like a Souls-like combat game, but with a faster pace. So you if you crossed Fortnite with Elden Ring,
Sorry, I'm laughing at chat too. Starring Harrison Ford in a really, really, really big rock. Also, have you ended your turn?
Indy B. Jones in.
Oh my god. That's pretty funny.
I'm still taking my turn. I got distracted with our
Hypothetically.
conversation here.
Big air quotes there. I'm taking my turn.
It looks like there's vast customization options for your mech in this game, and honestly, I'm gonna be streaming the beta because it looks like that's going to be available in August of this year, and then the full release won't be until 2025. So we get a beta in August of 2024. I don't know if we have an exact day for that, but I will be streaming that to see what the gameplay is like, because I'm curious. I think that it could be a lot of fun. It appeals to my I don't know, the side of me that enjoys the fast-paced gameplay of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Plus the complexity of Elden Ring's dynamic system. Could be good. And then we have another, definitely a Souls-like, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Seems to have a lot of...
Oh yeah, that one looked interesting.
Yeah, it did look interesting. It seems to have a lot of Eastern influences in the lore. Looks good. And that's 2025. And then they showcased Avowed again.
Yeah. We talked about that in the last stream.
Yeah, so
everyone's curious about a more in-depth talk about Avowed. We went into that pretty in-depth in the last stream.
Yes, we did. And
last Civilization stream.
There wasn't much new here. There was definitely a distinct choice that the character has to make between the local people of the living lands and the emperor that sends you there.
The Empire versus the Rebellion once again.
Classic. But it does look good. It does look like it has some really smooth gameplay, combat mechanics, and I'm looking forward to playing that one. And that'll be later this year, 2024. And we have Atom Fall. That looks like another Fallout. It looks like Fallout in the UK. Atom Fall. It is not tied to Fallout, but it does look like an alternate Earth history, with a lot of open world exploration and kind of old but new technology. I don't know how else to put that. Like World of Tomorrow technology. Then Assassin's Creed Shadows, and looks like that's coming out November 15th, 2024. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. That was that really interesting game coming out. I might end up streaming that one. That one does look good.
It's pretty interesting. It seems like it's a sequel. It's from a Ukrainian studio.
Yeah.
Seems pretty interesting. They seem pretty excited about it. I think they did a follow-up statement about it, which they did not do about everything.
No, yeah, they seem to really like this one. Again, I have these skeptical thoughts now, and I don't mean to, but they're there.
I can't help it.
But that's coming out September 5th this year. And then the final game that they showcased was Gears of War E-Day. That also looks like it could be an open worlds Gears of War game that takes place. It seems to be a prequel. It seems to be you're playing as Marcus Phoenix before he's busted out of. I think in the first game you're busted out of this prison by one of your squad mates, but I'm not exactly sure what puts him there, and I can't necessarily remember, but I think this game might explain some of those loose ends for the protagonist of the first three Gears of War games? First three Gears of War games.
Yeah. And then they just did like a half an hour highlight of all the things they love about Call of Duty.
Yes, they did, didn't they?
To be honest, I didn't watch that part of the showcase.
No.
Personally. I don't play the game, so didn't feel the need to take the time to watch that. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Call of Duty games. Not something I'm really hugely into. Never really have been. Just
Plus,
not my
how
thing.
can you trust them? Truth lies.
The truth lies.
For anyone in the chat that doesn't know why we're doing this, because in the trailer they use that line that the truth lies, and it's grammatically irritating to me.
They did this really intense scene where they like really quickly they flash the word the, and they do another really intense scene, truth. Another really intense scene, lies. no like asterisk or period or like, the truth is a lie. The truth, no, the truth lies. The truth lies.
Okay.
Oh.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we didn't watch the
writing team found gold. Comedy gold.
Call of Duty?
Call of Duty.
Period.
Black Ops 6 found comedy gold. The truth lies.
Okay. Oops. I misunderstood that.
I think that they thought it was serious. I think that they really felt that this was a really this is
witty.
Yeah. Intense and cool.
Edgy. Oh my gosh. In the sense that you believe them. That's funny. All right. Well, since we worked our way through the Xbox showcase, I want to mute for just a moment and respond to my cat.
Yes. Our cat needs our attention.
We will unmute in just a moment.
He's giving us looks.
All right.
All right. I think that concludes the Xbox game showcase discussion that we had.
The cat overlords require our attention.
Yeah,
so
we gotta go feed the cats.
I don't know what else we can do.
we're gonna save the game, and we'll pick up next week with some new and interesting video game topics, perhaps some other topics as well.
If you have specific topics that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to drop them in the chat or the comments if you're watching this after we have concluded streaming.
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the stream, give it a like. If you disliked it, dislike it. Remember to subscribe so you
or
can
tell
find...
us how we can make it better.
Yeah, please offer suggestions. We're open. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.
Sunday.
Civilization Sunday, that's right.
Have a good night.
Less than 2 hours, almost